Meeting was properly notified. Post, I should say. Make a motion to adopt the agenda. I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Okay. Comments?
Yeah, I'm here as a final walk. Welcome. I'm running for PROA, and I have a financial background. I want to you guys for all about them. Thank you for your dedication and services, because I know it's a job sometimes. But just wanted to show my support and understand exactly what I want to do. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have an update on the audit?
So, yes, so we included the audit, we're put out. So we get. So I know that I can give you my, talk about. When I got this, I know he mentioned that he update the part that says we're recognizing incorporating the interest earned based on the capital. Once again, the ruling gap. I think we can push for them to update the second sentence. Policy, internal policy, that person, change it. And then on the adjusted internal entries, they did adjust this, the first entry, which is the one in question that I would say the auditor that we put that entry as is. Because we don't have an imbalance between operating and replacement. So they changed that entry, now it's working. They removed the entries to reclassify the interest income into capital because they did it. You're also, saying, hey, I'm saying that they transfer the interest here, they remove my investment when they did that just for the. So I wouldn't have to enter to our. I know you mentioned there was other note in your email saying that it's an interest income area, they only talked about the interest income, they excluded the capital ones, but when I checked the whole section, that section is only. So that's why. It's just like, yes.
Okay, in the separate section, I thought that was a general note to the financial statement. In that.
The one that they can update, but then you mentioned like, hey, like on this page, this, no, I don't know which.
That was a separate section.
Yeah.
Notes, that note as it stood, exactly the way it was, did it make sense to you?
The second, it doesn't make sense.
I didn't think so at all.
Yeah, because they're only talking about replacement and covering expenses. Side. That's why I think that you can argue.
Make investments and this, that.
Yours makes more sense because you're saying, hey, we're just taking income to offset the assessments that we have covered inside. That's why I'm saying like, hey, we can go back. Like, update the second sentence. The first one that says, the first one, it has to say like, hey.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That second didn't make sense.
My question is like, again, I was saying, into the audit this draft on this agenda for this. I can go back to the audit now. To change this. If they do it by tomorrow, we're. Like this. They are anticipating the change these. This.
Subject to change in that one sentence.
Yeah.
All by it.
The language changed to one sentence. They don't get it on time.
No.
No, you don't have to say that.
What's in our brains?
Or you can raise your hand and say, what about that sentence?
Yeah.
You're the detail guy.
Then well, probably because the board packet already went out, I think we'll have to do like a motion in the meeting to include this part. Okay.
Hey, Bill? You hear us, Bill? Can you work with Ray, because we might need someone to say that as far as approval of the audit,
Oh, you're on mute.
the change with one of the firms.
I think we can make that motion ourselves. I think I can.
Okay, yeah, just figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, oh, well.
Yeah, you don't want this to fall to the ground. Yeah. Anything else on the audit that you guys?
Get done earlier.
You might want to have a follow-up meeting with them. once this is all done,
Yeah.
To discuss this. Say, are you ready for next year?
Give me the same BS answer they gave last year.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned in the previous thing, they did send the first draft, but when I read it, like, it was missing a. So I was alarming, that's why you didn't share information from you guys. I was. And they talked me through what was going on, and apparently they hadn't received, the superior function they were. I don't learn or something. That's where I started like pushing through all the information that they were asking for. And that's when they were able to review all of that data and then put the one in question before something like that. So my part is complicated done. I push we can do a better job of itself as well. And yeah.
Did they press you when you had to provide the information that you needed? Did they press you to get that?
So when I got there, like maybe like after doing that, I was not all involved. Until we read that draft, and he was like, he was saying that we weren't using like practices and all of that because they were missing. Preparation and the second draft that they was that's report that out, which we had to escalate to Bola as an organization, took action. So yeah, so I will say to achieve that.
Yeah, I mean, in my experience with all the auditors, with over the years, once they started, communication. It's in order to get things done, but they had to go to another.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that we need is, we get this communication, we get these things done.
Yeah, I can talk to him and ask for him to be a little more responsive because I've noticed that we submit when we don't even get like crickets until follow up. Hey, like
When we seem to have to initiate to your point, we seem to have to initiate everything.
Yeah.
It lays dormant and then we say, what's the status of?
exactly, yeah.
And then
Unless they don't need something from us, they're not giving me like a for example, like an email from him Friday requesting an agreement. For that, I haven't heard from him. And after the meeting, I'll see something. And remember that I had to follow up because we received another request from another person on the financial CCS and all of that stuff. The final financials, and the auditor was still working. So I was like, hey, like, an update because I had some additional information. Month and a half. But for CCS, I know on TV.
They don't do the year looking at anything, correct?
The year?
Yeah, you don't, you send them quarterlies?
So for this year, I've already submitted.
We had a similar problem years ago. We ended up going quarterly to the auditor, so they know where, what's going on, so they can resolve questions immediately if they start something.
Yeah, yeah.
And that actually worked out pretty well, because we got the reports down from a year down to 6 months. Still not good, but it helped a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, and I think it's a backlog of all, like, not only with what, I know, we just got that report like weeks ago. Recently today, he sent us a CCS report. So it's like, he's trying to get a bunch of the previous audits out of the way, that were delayed as well. Just,
It's an experiment. I would say we look at that. Remember, these people. think that, State, I mean, they've got like 5,000 accounts or whatever. That's crazy. They control our. Or maybe a little smaller firm. I think, Sam, we should talk about that.
Yeah.
Because this is the third year that we're saying. For. I get frustrated. You're new to it. This is your first.
yeah.
Just wait till you have twins next time.
I mean, I think like the little time that I've been able to work with Patrick, and it's just like it's not like a week or 2 weeks for us to know, like, hey, we're able to do anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get this in and just have this.
About this here. Yeah. Yeah, so. October financial review. I think you all saw the email that I sent. This first one on the auto reverse, 71 AR. That, what was that represented again?
So
Cash.
yeah, so all of our accounts, or most of our accounts have the ICS service. So we have had this issue running probably for cities, that if we process a payment or a transfer or that last day of the month, at the end of the day, the DDA account increases sweep and sends the money to the ICS. And currently in the system, reconciling both, yeah, we're not separate accounts because the DDA account at the end of the day should have 0 balance, which is basically reconciling the ICS. So in this case, we had this ICS, this sweep coming from DDA to the ICS, and clear DDA, it clear the ICS, it's throwing our. So I have to do out of the percent to be able to balance, and then on November. It's just like consequence, it's like the same amount.
Um.
Hey, Ray, along those lines, with that end of year stuff, is it maybe better to have some practice that all transactions are done by, say, like the second or third business day of the month? That way there is adequate time for those to clear before the month flips over.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I have the power to control if I approve a payment to go out on that last date of the month. For example, if we get a deposit in our lockbox and the corporate goes to the bank and they deposit that transaction that last day of the month, then that's gonna create a separate sweep that I don't have control of, and I have this type of transaction still.
Okay. Yeah, maybe there isn't a better option than what we have, but just something to consider.
Charges and finance charges are going into.
So those are gonna be receivable. Basically, the be 300. And this is the 25 fee we charge of the 5%. So the water started now in a, so all of these accounts are behind, it was $25. So if I pull an AU report, the AU report's gonna be out. If I wanna tell you, if you think that you wish from the either I will have.
I would just, because if the board starts waiving some of these or things like that, I guess that's. Because we recognize the income. So it's sort of-
Yeah,
It's significant, if it's a few here, a few there, that's fine.
yeah.
But that's all I really care about. Is like, if we're recognizing income. Yeah.
Usually on the way, I want to get request these because we, and if they were appealing for a fine and not fine for a charge, and if the board decides to waive, and then they have to usually we don't just rapidly.
The $25 percent, is that the highest level of charge we can do for these statutes in the state?
That I will. The highest that we can do right now in a system. Dollars.
I think we should go to whatever the highest is we can do for the statutes, because the people are using this as a financing mechanism. This is getting ridiculous. Remaining units, they're outstanding, 250 feet, $250,000.
Ray, you are at the statutory limit for late fees and interest.
Whole dollar and percentage.
Yes.
Let's charge them extra and have them come and try to get it back. And how do we get them to pay on time?
Okay, so make sure.
Yeah. Jeez.
Okay, water expenses, Aspen Parks and Spring Lake are quite high. Irrigation problems.
No irrigation problems reported. I checked the monthly average and we're around $7,500 to $8,000 on passive. $1,000. That's why that's.
Okay, so 851. This is gonna be replaced anyway as part of the capital project, or is this something that just?
It's outside of the capital project, it's which we basically end up replacing those. I noted that.
Yeah.
It's pressure, whatever, so maybe we can argue.
You should be able to, but typically when a property is out of service, anything that's done for that time goes.
Yeah.
That's typically how
Yeah.
we've done it in the past.
It's, so this would be another item that needs to be added. I can move this from maintenance to A or other, and then approve.
It's not.
This budget is blown on a lot of issues.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
So quick question, because I'm having trouble hearing. Are you talking about moving the backflow expenses to capital expense?
Yep.
To,
So the backflow expenses are community-wide, and that is an annual inspection that Toho requires of all of the potable water lines. It's not a requirement that's been imposed previously, and they haven't been checking on the records. This year, they asked ECDD for the records of the backflow inspections and maintenance logs, and ECDD didn't have any of them, so they sent everybody letters with potable water lines and commercial properties the need to do these inspections and repairs. So this really is truly an operational expense that we're going to start seeing annually.
Even if we replace the whole thing, Lauren?
Yeah, because they're not in the reserve study.
The point I was trying to make though, because the property is not in service, you still can classify it to the capital. Even if it was done by an inspection that's required to be done. That property is not in service, so it cannot incur, FASB cannot incur operating.
But I leave.
Right, but still is not in service, therefore you can fix it and capitalize it. That's why we used to do it for years. You
The
can
idea is
decide.
that this has got probably a useful life of more than a year, doesn't it? It's not an insignificant expense. How much is each one?
Correcting all of them is over $10,000. And the inspection per backflow was, I think, about $250 per backflow.
We capitalized and appreciate it over three or 5 years schedules.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in this case, it was for like $200,000.
I mean, we're not trying to manage you.
Yeah, it's not, I kind of find it looks that way.
We like your work order.
That's right. SEC, okay. All right. I don't understand your resident ID answer. Digital ID sales is income. We have a-
This is the amortization of the purchase of the thousand ID. Prepaid and then amortize as we sell them. Okay, so
Yeah, this is offset some.
correct, so correct. Yeah. The amortization of those 75.
Okay. All right.
And you only recognize an expense when you sell one?
That's
Paying for more than.
right. $60 for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good. Okay. And then you're gonna check out the capital retail application. Yeah, yes.
I have some questions for that. If it's confusing and frustrating, this is happening. Never had to look at it before. The title companies always we changed our resale rate, and so we've been a little more attentive to it. Reconcile that, and we're finding these discrepancies. I don't know if those always existed. I can't understand how our change in rate or calculation will cause a problem at the title company. And these title companies have been doing this for years and years and years. They do it for us, they do it for the foundation. These estoppels go in there and they've got to be paid. The deal can't close. It just can't close. And they're all filling it out, I'm sure.
These are all closed on the Osceola County site.
Understand.
Right,
So they're all registered by Osceola County, so that means they hadn't closed.
right.
So that means the title company's got the money in escrow and it's not paid.
Or they paid it to Grand Matters and it went. Or,
But that wouldn't happen before.
no,
Just take back. That was happening.
Oh, we never knew.
Maybe we're paying more attention now.
we are.
We're trying to witness.
Right. I don't think that's done before.
Yes, so
That's probably.
It just seems weird. There's a really established process that should happen very easily. You're gonna be narrowing down to the title companies who.
first I'm gonna attack the account. So I'm gonna work on a reconciliation. I'm gonna work on, we're getting in the system, capital resale fees. Being pointed out a few months ago, and they matched the Excel file. I'm gonna pull that data. The Excel file I created that pulling a report concern it, and the reports for conveyances process. So if there was a conveyance process, that is gonna be included. And be able to match that to those Osceola County reports. I should have a full. Now, if the conveyance, maybe resale, maybe we saw a house, the conveyance has not been included, that report that I'm using sorry, page, and we don't get notified whenever, we receive stuff. Or receive those, and then we don't get any heads up that they get stuff for us to make sure that the information and everything has been processed in the system to have the correct information. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna put those to electronic report. And check all the cells that we have for information, make sure that I identify the ones that I don't have for myself now, so I can add them. If we don't have to look at the system, and the transaction was considered, I'm gonna add them. This is gonna be a that station I need to do here.
Barb,
Sorry, I couldn't hear what Ray was asking.
you have a comment?
Oh, I was just gonna say, this is an issue that we've had since day one, where you're not seeing all of the resales recognized in the month that they were sold. And it's not the title company's problem. The problem is we have a lot of homes that sell without requesting estoppels through the closing portal. So we're not made aware of a sale until that new resident comes into the front counter and says, I'm the new owner of this property. I want my IDs. Then we're processing the conveyance on the corporate side and we're adding in the capital assessment after the fact. That can be anywhere from 30 to 90 days after the sale, depending on how quickly people move.
Just a side note, I contacted Danica. There's 3 of those that he was the realtor for. He responded immediately and gave me the 3 title companies. He said it's all on the MLS. I can't go to it because I'm not a realtor. I mean, I go to the site, but they can give me that information. But basically what he's saying is that if there's a realtor, they can go into every house sale that was involved in that sale. So he gave me the 3 immediately within like 10 seconds.
The 3 different titles.
3 different.
Sheesh. I would think that, I don't understand, title companies should be familiar with this market and what's required here and not let something close. I'll be interested to see the research and pairs up how many title companies are involved in 30 or 40.
32.
Okay, 32 closings, and see if we've got a common denominator. And then just education with that group, whatever it comes out to be, but I don't know if it's gonna be real diverse or it's gonna be real concentrated.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get a result. One way or the other. We'll figure out, I understand some of the September ones might just have been delayed.
There's a lifetime on all of them, I'm sure.
Right, but the ones going back, and I noticed that, I looked up one of them, and it basically said there was a need, which then, but it's still recorded in civil county as a sale. So I'm not sure exactly how that goes. But these are all things you get to, and Ray, like I said, I talked to your, I'd be happy to help you.
Yeah, technically, that's not a sale.
No.
That's just a transfer.
That's a
Yeah.
transfer, but it's a change of ownership, so I think that's gonna trigger the fee.
Hey,
Yeah, it should, because you change, when I put something in a trust or whatever too, that's a change. And people have tried to ding us for that, and people had to say, hey, no, that's just a paper transaction.
yeah, if it's gone through a law firm that's filed that deed, they don't even go through title. They just do it themselves, and that's where they can be, yeah.
But these are all the little things. that
Yeah.
we Find out. It's, wrong, what are we getting? So I think it'll be great. Okay. Anybody have any other questions?
Couple here, so we've got that overage on the CJC results, running positive, I think about 80-some thousand year to date. Shouldn't we recognize that and project to the year end and get that into the November statement? We get into our system.
Like a receivable, the cross side.
No, it's their performance against budget. just been booking budget all year long. Now it's time to true up, where we think they're gonna be, get that into the Kroll P and L.
I can do that.
I would do that in November, so we get it in there. It's, $88,000, about 80% of that's gonna be ours. So 85, so it's gonna be $65,000-$70,000 to go into the number to take down that shortfall, so I'll get that in there. Just clear that on. This money, Lauren, the money's gotta go to, Canoa too, right? I mean, they get their share of that.
Yeah, there's a true up at the end of the year every year, usually in December, just in case there's any year-end overages. I don't really foresee any on the CJC side, so we can do a conservative true up in November and then a final one in December.
You think that surplus is gonna be gone in December?
No, I'm just saying, I would say be conservative about a true up in
Yeah, yeah,
November,
yeah.
just to,
75% of it.
Yeah.
is, yeah, okay. Just, I'd like to get it into our books now. The Island Village thing is starting October 13th on the plats. What's the lag time? When will we see some of that in November for the few weeks in October?
so the phase 2 plats are being added into Syrinet right now. We finally got all the addresses and lot numbers aligned. And then you should see, depending on how quickly that happens, because it's 252 that need to be processed. Hopefully you'll see some in November. Otherwise, you'll see it in December.
Yeah, because once the addresses are added in Syrinet, I have to go in and create the bill. I'll have to do my own bill starting October 13th. Yeah, so.
The electricity, we're down, and a lot of it's probably got to do with the 851 building. Raised a question in my head. Is electricity included in our lease with Lexin, or is it separately metered? It's inclusive.
It's included in the lease, yeah.
And maybe Lauren, you can comment. I was thinking about pool, where it's sitting over budget again, still the big number. And I know we changed vendor 2-3 months ago. Can you comment on how that's going and what the outlook is for next year?
So the new pool vendor found a number of issues. You also got a new health department inspector that has been going line by line, nitpicking point by nitpicking point in terms of the repairs, like even things as small as a loose railing or the hinge on a pool equipment lid being broken. So those are all repairs that we have to make for the health department purposes. So hopefully, once these are all cleared out, we'll see a stabilization.
Are you happy with them so far?
The new pool company, yes, Walter and Luis are very happy with them. They're much more responsive and proactive than the previous company.
So tell me what happened with repair and maintenance. We got a new leader and we performed under budget.
There's a new purchasing process that requires pre-approval.
Where's what?
There's a new PO process that requires pre-approval from Jacob Arai.
Oh, so control was the answer.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
In some respects, yes, but in other respects, no.
We're a bunch of 116,000 year to date and add in the 30,000 from that invoice, that credit invoice or whatever. Plus 150. So it's stabilizing in November, October, so we should be looking.
So I will say that everything that was spent were repairs that needed to be made. We're just being a little bit more overly cautious and saying, if I can delay it until 26, let's do that.
Well, Yes, but I think if we budget $350,000, we have to operate inside that number, prioritize. We can't just spend endlessly. We don't have a blank check. Nobody has a blank check, and I think we are operating in that fashion.
That's fair, but there's also some repairs that are required, otherwise I have to shut down amenities.
No, no doubt, those are priorities, and then we might have to let something that's more discretionary go. Anyway, we have to operate within established. Oh, a little cosmetic thing.
Yeah.
On the replacement fund.
Yes.
Statement. The net surplus here, that's the budget number. It should be up on this line. I don't know why that's down there. I never noticed it before. I don't know if that just slipped or what.
Oh, because this is the total expenses, so there's no total expenses in the budget. So it's a pass through of the revenue. That's for investment.
It's expensive right here.
That's the monthly one. So the,
Here's the year to date.
yeah, so this is the budget.
Yeah, this is budget year to date. Budget year to date, so it's 892,000.
So if you see this, so the budget for the year, we didn't budget for any expenses. That's why on the budget is nice. So there's no-
You didn't put any detail in the totals. At
Yeah.
the bottom. So why won't we look at the difference between the 892 and the 872 and say year to date, we're $20,000 under what we spent? 92 actual,
17.
872 actual, 892 budget.
Mhm.
And then get that up on that line and then show that we're 20,000 under what we plan to spend.
So what's going on, if I put this here, I'm saying that we have in our budget here today, $892,000.
Yeah, but we plan to spend.
That would be a forecast number.
So forecast and budget's the same thing. Well, it is. When we're operating with budgets, we don't do a forecast. That's our budget or our forecast.
What I'm
We
trying
do it every year in front of the year.
I get it, but
Okay.
this number is this number.
Yeah.
It's the total revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's not revenue. Well, this is expensive.
no. 892.
Oh, yeah.
Total expenses is this line.
Yeah.
Zero in the
And
budget.
if you want to get net surplus or deficit, you subtract the others from the revenue.
It's zero.
Okay, it's not a big thing, but it just doesn't look odd to you.
I understand what you're saying, that you want me to put this number here, but I can't.
Well, you can if you want to. Don't say can't.
This is not that how you do.
Think about it. You think about it. Really, but like, you think about it.
Okay, any other questions in October? Fund analysis and forecast. So, like I said, for the capital fund, we 160 homes sold. We 136,000. And then we clean up all this other stuff. See all that coming in eventually. Out of that, 15 homes in Island Village, 2A have closed in September and October. 53 are under contract, and there's 30 left in phase 2A, which is 15 houses. And they've listed for phase 2B. Right now, they're showing on that site 57 homes and townhomes that are available. And actually, just yesterday, the first one correct. Start,
They started building.
they're not in the process of building. Well, I haven't been there this week for the last 2 weeks. So, I'll get there tomorrow. I'll let you know. But I go by my house, so I'm seeing woods. So they're probably. Yeah, because all the infrastructure is. And they did the last thing. So I guess the issue with the fund analysis forecasts is. It's the estimate still between 2 and 3. That's what we're gonna be in the capital fund as we get to the end of the year.
Exactly. So what's the total on 851 cost?
So the GMP is gonna be 3,452. It's 34. And as of right now, we have 14 for a total 34,000.
Yeah.
Here. We spent, when this was published, we spent $275,000 year to date. So this was back in September, probably.
Oh, the 273, that's Calvin Group. Yeah.
So 275 was kind of going up to that point.
Mhm.
Then in 2025, we expected to spend 1.6 million.
That was gonna, yes.
What?
No, the 1.6 million is related to the project itself. Yeah.
Spend. And in 2026, we may have those three numbers up. And 4,200,000.
So,
Okay, and like. It's already-
Paid already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Total capital.
So the numbers 3.
You're still 27.
Yes, but part of this,
Outstanding.
so as of today, the Cali Group number 73, $362,000. And we are anticipating that we, like on average, we're spending like $28,000 per payment a day. So we're anticipating that we're gonna be paying before year end, like a condition of $55,000 to $60,000 to help. Now, related to the project, we've paid the Angeles Diamond as of today, $143,000. Only $143,000. We have a rough estimate here of like if the following 2 invoices come from around $150,000, we're estimating that we might end up paying an additional $300,000 per year end. But we sent an email today to the click because they're the ones that get all the information from the Angeles and they're basically filtered so that they can confirm what we can expect by year end. Once we get their number, we send it.
But when you want to think about the capital, timing is one thing. We figure out till May of next year or so when the project's done. we're gonna Spend that 3.95.
Yes.
But we spend a little bit of this year, a little bit of next year, so. They'll do.
your structure. Is only charged $160,000. And they're supposed to be done when?
In May, right?
So they're basically back end loaded their progress schedule?
Lauren, you provided this with the breakdown of this year and next year. Has that changed for some reason, or wasn't that in the contract? The progress payments?
Yeah, it's progress payments. That's why we're asking Click where they're thinking the progress payments are gonna fall. DeAngelis is ahead of schedule, but it's also based on percentage of work done. We're still completing the demo phase. And not really, we've just started doing installs, like the drainage and the some of the HVAC and some of the new electrical. So while they're moving and they're ahead of schedule, they're still, I mean, percentage done is what they're billing on.
Okay.
So it's gonna, it wasn't designed to be back end loaded. Because of the way it's being measured, it's gonna be back end loaded. It's gonna be.
Yeah.
So that number is the GMP that.
Thing that
This one, once we get that and we get it.
Yeah.
So as we think about capital in the next year, as Island Village comes on stream, this year we annualized sales that comes out a little 300 this year. Makes it up. Next year, you've got that extra, oh, I call it 100. What's the number, Lauren? 300 and some? 252, is that it?
252
Okay.
in
250.
2B.
And was there another 80 before that?
Yeah, there's like 87 in 2A.
Not,
4 of those were. So it's 83 there.
okay, so 300 or something like that. That's right.
Yeah.
I've always figured that those would probably go over the next 3 years, 100 each year. Just tranche them out at 100 each year. So if we hit an extra 100 home sales next year, that changes the look of our capital quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we got planned. That's maybe some sensitivity analysis or what. That will help us because we're gonna be pretty thin. That day 51 paid off and everything. Is the splash pad all done? Is that all of everything done?
Yeah.
So it's another
It'll be
4 by-
completed mid-December is the completion date.
How much is left on that payment?
I'd have to go double check. They still have the bulk of the equipment install and final sign off from the county and the health department. So you're probably looking at like a third to a quarter.
So 300,000 or so. So if we get that run rate on the Island Village next year, we'll be putting away about $150,000 a month. So that'll be the intake from 275,000 on operating and village and the other sales about 150,000.
Yeah, it'll all. Scrolls. And if people.
Out of the original amount that was approved, which was $520, excluding the All-Star Electrical and the plumbing stuff, just Splash Pad USA, we paid so far $396,000. The 524 we still have remaining 128.
I was figuring the next July, when I get back in the envelope. Next July, it would be somewhere in the range of $1 million. In the capital fund. In July. Yeah. That's just a stab in the dark. It depends on a lot of things.
Yeah, that obviously.
I'll get something a little more official. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but as far as master planning.
Don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna. The next thing are the courts. They're obviously. We haven't.
Back.
And now like Splash Pad.
Yeah. It should be it for a while. When you get something back, it'll be good to see you.
Yes.
Work on something. You provided us the analysis on accounts receivable.
Yes.
Well, I have a question related to that. Laura, what's the status on the story of, you said that they approached us about a payoff or a catch-up thing? What's that looking like?
They originally proposed a 12-month payment plan, but they didn't take into account that they're going to have a full year's worth of Canoa's dues and the 2026 apartment rec fees due immediately in January. So those were supplied to them and they were provided a recommendation from council on a 12-month payment plan that would get them current. I don't think, as of my call today with him, he has not heard back from them.
The apartment fees are a lump sum at the beginning of the year
Yep.
in advance, okay? I know that. You'd be willing to spread that over the year for them if They paid the arrears and then paid current monthly, 12 months.
It does not sound like they are financially in a position to pay the full arrears amount.
I know they're not, I mean, with all the lawsuits they have and everything, they probably don't have any money. I try to get whatever I could. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, so he did push back and we're just waiting to hear back from them in terms of a plan.
You'd be willing to keep us informed?
Yeah, as soon as I hear something, I'll share it with the committee.
Thank you. Certainly is. Yeah.
And we have, what is this? It's,
yeah, it's coming up, another 300's coming up, right?
100.
They really need to sell that. Okay, any other topics? Yeah, T-bills.
No. Capital, March 26th, and the one that we have here replacement for October 30th, that was renewed for 12 months.
Good. All right, any other comments from anybody? Make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
Oh, question reporter. Aside from the adjustment of relay, anything else that you guys would like before turning over? Okay, then I'll make that adjustment. I'll show you guys.
Before we make it, decide. Yeah.
Got one thing I'd like to ask. Lauren, you've been talking with Dom about the cameras and the different upgrades that are needed. Do we have an upgrade schedule that we're accruing for security equipment like that?
It was up for replacement this year, or on
Right, but
a phase schedule.
But do we have a plan, and is this committee aware of it?
No, this committee's not aware of it, but Dom does have a plan, and depending on which way the decision is made to go on which cameras we're using, then that'll inform kind of the dollar figure.
Right, because if we continue on current course and speed, we would be upgrading like 50 some cameras in 2026 if we keep our current system as is. And that's, that's going to be $30,000 to $50,000. So I just wanted to make sure that as we go forward, there's a schedule. This committee's aware of it and can help plan for it in the subsequent years, because cameras age out and have to be replaced, and they're not totally inexpensive.
These are replaced out of the replacement fund, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
This is it's a strange subject. I think you got a note from Tom Hall, or you talked to him. And I got a letter from Tom Hall and I responded to expressed opinions on it. There's a division in the group thinking, so I pontificated on the cheap option.
Yeah, there's been quite I was relayed your comments from Mr. Hall. It's a crossroads decision that we have to, as a community, really think through before we move one way or another. There are pros and cons to each. Money can't be 100% of the factor. So I just wanted to make sure that this committee was aware that coming up, there's going to be some more expenses with security equipment. As much as we talk about the Gallagher system, I thought it would just be fun to throw this topic in as well.
Is this something that'll be discussed? Is this something that'll be discussed at this December workshop, or is this something you're looking at the November Board of Directors meeting to proceed?
The board's not on this yet. This is being talked about between Grand Manners IT and the tech committee. The tech committee has a direction they would like to proceed. I'm trying to find a middle ground, so. I just wanted to make this committee aware that there's some expenses coming up one way or another, and so.
So we can add this as a discussion item for your December meeting, and we'll get you the documentation in terms of what management's position is versus the tech committee's position, and some potential middle of the road options.
Okay. Good. Anything else? Meeting. We got conflicts.
This is early December, well, can't. Um,
So Lauren, the board meeting in December is gonna be the 17th.
It is the third Wednesday of the month in December, so it is, yes, the 17th.
So.
Do the 15th?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure for the. Insurance with you guys, a Saturday, and then we can play.
Meet on the 15th.
Yeah, I'll check availability. I'll check tomorrow the availability of what programs are available on. Should you guys have
5:30 same time.
5:37. On the 15th.
Ray, it doesn't look like there's any committee meetings scheduled right now in
Okay.
the meeting desk calendar.
I'll do this first thing tomorrow.
All right. Great. Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Favor.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.